Your host here, Chris Swick, from the depths of darkness to the light of success. Today I got some great guests. I got two guests today. First time doing that one, but I got DJ Vekked and Thug Shells all the way from Edmonton, Alberta.
It's DJ Vekked.
We're going to have to...
Vekked. Sorry, I'll start it over.
No, it's all right.
No, it's good. This is the running joke now.
All right. DJ Vekked. Anyways, would you guys like to introduce yourself, starting with Thug Shells?
Yes, after I finished sipping my coffee. My name is Thug Shells. I'm a rapper from Alberta, and I like ice cream and dogs.
Nice. What about you, Vekked?
I'm a turntablist, world DJ champion based out of Kitchener-Waterloo for the last 12 years or something like that. And yeah.
You still living over in the Kitchener-Waterloo area?
Right now I'm actually up north, sort of as a result of this COVID type of situation. Basically, like, I've been like touring for the last like few months. I put all my stuff in storage in Kitchener, in the fall, and I had an Asian tour planned, and so I was just sort of like staying at my parents' for a few weeks before that was happening, and then the COVID situation made that all fall through. So I'm just at my parents' place up north. So
nice, man. That's awesome. Just up in the woods, eh?
Yeah,
your parents
is like, it worked out way better. Like, it's like it's a lot better, like being able to be with my parents and stuff. At least otherwise, to just be alone in Kitchener,
Yeah, for sure. Myself, I know self-isolation all too well, back in active addiction stuff, same thing as it. But I'm getting good at self-isolation productive and positive ways now. So
yeah.
What about you, Thug Shells? You just living on your lonesome out there in Alberta?
Oh, I'm so happy here. I have roommates that are great. So we have like our little, I see them every day, but I have a lot of pets, and I literally just work on music.
I see that from your Instagram posts. You have quite the collection of pets.
Yeah, they're all really happy.
What kind of pets do you have?
I have a cat and a dog that I've had forever, Milo and Churchill. He's a Mastiff Lab, and my cat's just like this giant, wild, super cat. And then I have 5 ferrets. So
wow, 5 ferrets. Does it not get stinky or anything with those things?
No, actually, they're pretty good. I mean, like, legally, all the ferrets in Canada have to be descented because they're related to skunks. So the part that makes them smelly is kind of gone. So as long as you keep their cage clean, people think that ferrets are smelly, but like, it's pretty good. Just keep them clean. Nice. They're so cute too.
Nice. So I'll ask the questions both of you, but like, what was it like your childhood, like growing up and stuff like that with your family? I guess we'll go Vekked first.
Yeah. Like Shells is occupied drinking.
Hydrating.
My childhood was, I don't know, I'd say really good overall. Like my parents are great. They're really supportive of anything I was doing and wanted to do. But when I was younger, I was definitely more like academically inclined. Like I wasn't really into arts and stuff. I didn't get into that until later. And there's a bit of like maybe there's a bit of a time where I don't think my parents quite trusted the direction that I was going with that kind of stuff.
Like with your DJing and stuff?
Yeah, like obviously there's a generation gap. They didn't get it for a long time,
For sure.
It is what it is.
Even my parents, same thing. Even growing up there, people looked at me weird when I didn't work for a few years playing poker. Same thing. But I was making money, having fun. So
well, that was the first. Actually, like when I was playing poker, they definitely were unsure of that for good reasons. I think at the start, and then when I went like more back to DJing and music, I think that was almost like a bit of a is easier for them than me playing poker, I guess. So
yeah, for sure. Well, thank you. What about you, Thug Shells? How was your life growing up and stuff?
It's so funny because I feel like my family's the opposite. Like everyone in my family loves playing poker, and I've never in my life played poker. And I feel like if I became a world-class poker player, they'd be so proud of me and they'd be like, yeah. But no, I've been stupidly lucky my whole existence. No matter what tangent I've decided to go on, I've just been met with a lot of support. And when I decided I was going to become a musician, a couple years ago, not only is my family supportive, but they're so proud of me. And it's really cool because I've started a lot of endeavors in my life and they've always been happy for me, but they can see that I finally found music, which is what I want to do. And they just support me in every way that they can. So I'm really, really lucky for that. Because as a rapper, you can't really say that, you know, your mom, dad, and grandparents are like cheering for you on the sidelines. But from day one, everyone's like, this is what makes you happy. This is what you're good at. This is what we want to support you in that. So
yeah, that's awesome. So like, was music your first passion, or did you have other things?
Oh, no.
No?
No.
You had little projects on the go all the time, it seems like, even through your Instagram page.
Yeah, it's like a gift and a curse, right? Because I try to kind of do everything, but when you constantly divulge your attention to a lot of things don't really get done. You just start 10 million things. So lately I've been trying to simmer down and focus, and it's not always successful in that. I have to constantly remind myself if what I'm doing is actually leading to the task at hand of what I want to accomplish. But to answer the question, I only found music. I've only been rapping for less than 3 years now when I started freestyling. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Journey. Mm-hmm.
What about you, Vekked? What got you into DJing and stuff? Like, what was that first passion that, like, it's like, yo, I want to do that?
Man, it's a long, like, weird kind of story, but
I like it. Fresh Kills gave me a nice long story of the last episode. So
nice. So it started when I was like 12. I don't even like completely know how it happened, but somehow I was just finding out about electronic music, and one of my friends' dads got him a piece of music making software, like for the computer.
Oh, okay.
And is at the same time as we were both kind of interested in it, so we started like making beats, like mostly like electronic, like house beats and stuff. When I was like 12 or so, and then so I was making beats for a few years, and then when I went to high school, I started like learning about and hearing like hip hop and stuff, and got into hip hop. And then when from there, I kind of heard about like DJing, and I saw a video like that I just randomly downloaded off LimeWire, and it was Qbert and Mixmaster Mike, and they're scratching, and I saw, like, that was the first time I saw scratching, like with like visually. Yeah. And then when I asked my dad like what they were using, like he told me they're turntables, and then I just like found a pair of turntables at a pawn shop, and the rest
is history, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, man. And what about you? Like, what pushed you, Thug Shells, to get into the music though and stuff like that? Just your creative side? Like, what made you decide 3 years ago, I want to be a freestyle?
So it's actually like a really pivotal moment. There's a transformational festival off of the coast of BC. It's called Base Coast.
Okay.
And I went to
Shambhala.
No, but that's another really good place. But that's not where I started. I have played there though, unofficially. I was sad that unfortunately got announced yesterday that it's not happening this year, which is understandable.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's going to be a summer of creative renaissance for all.
For sure, for me too. Like I'm a goddamn salesman by day, and I haven't worked. You know, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm doing a podcast. Mm-hmm. You know, I always wanted to do one, but I was just like, my mentor's like, Chris, you said you're going to do it, just fucking do it. So here we are, you know, so
gotta just do it. Yeah, but it was about 3 summers ago. I went to a festival called Base Coast, and super cool, just so much art, the best people, just absolutely cherishing and celebrating all the artistic creation and freedom that they have. But there was a group that rolled around there, a group from Vancouver. They're the Freestyle Focus Group, and they have like a portable MC station. Essentially, they had the monitors set up. It's on wheels, and they roll around the festival all weekend, encouraging people to freestyle. And I remember seeing them roll by a couple times, and they take the party. They take the party, and it's like, wow, I wish I could do that. That looks really cool. And the last morning, I remember they rolled by, and I wanted to try it, and I was with a friend of mine, and she told me, why don't we go do it? So I remember I went and I got encouraged to get on the microphone, and I don't even think I freestyled there. I think I had a dolphin song that I'd written. My first rap song is about dolphins.
Nice.
Because my whole thing is nautical. Thug shells, seashells, Michelle.
Fair enough.
So I did that, and I remember the feeling that I had was just like something I could never describe to anyone. And from that moment onward, I told all my friends, I was like, I'm going to be a rapper. And absolutely all my friends agreed. they're like, yeah, you're going to be, this is going to be great. And I was met with so much encouragement and so much love, and that it was what I started to do. And I got back to the city and found myself, like, the first competition was a rap battle. And eventually I think the people just wanted a female rapper. And I look back at videos and listen to myself, and I was horrible. I don't know how I had
coming
the
up
courage.
at the right time. I think you're coming up right behind Nova Rockefeller.
Oh yeah, I like to Rockefeller too. But yeah, I was just met with a lot of encouragement. And it was interesting because I started in the festival scene, which is really supportive. And I know that there's a lot of stigmas behind the hip hop scene, and there can be difficulties for female MCs breaking out into the hip hop scene. But I was really blessed to have developed my artistry, especially at the beginning, in the festival scene. That was full of support and love and no competition. Not to say that the hip hop scene has necessarily that, but I just know that I've been really lucky in my development as an artist. So
yeah,
I started that.
Different route, which is awesome. And it seems to have really done well for you.
It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So what about you, Vekked? Like, when did you really break out into this thing? Vekked. We'll get it right one of these days.
All right.
That's what I say.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
No, every it's a 50-50 chance if people say Vekked or Vekked. And then some people, if they're from Germany, then they say DJ Vekked.
Nice. You know what? Even Fresh Kills on the last episode there, he kept correcting me too. He had talked about you a couple times. He talked about your tour that you did, and he had the bed in Thunder Bay. So
yeah.
In fact, I was learning about the nuclear physics yesterday, and how sometimes they can only predict the nuclear whatever is 50% of the time. But there's one theory that goes that there's actually two universes, and so in one universe the particle is there, and in the other place the particle's in a different place. So in one universe you're Vekked, and in one universe you're Vekked, and maybe we're not sure which universe we're in.
Nice.
All right.
Science.
All right. You don't need any more coffee.
No.
All right. Sorry, what was the question?
So no, when did you finally like break out? Because like you're a 7-time world champ.
Yeah.
And stuff. So like when did you finally like break out into the scene? Like what did you first get into, like doing shows and stuff? What was it?
So like I did a little bit of like just really small shows and things like stag and does and weddings and stuff when I was in high school. That was just
the standard stuff playing.
Yeah, it's like my summer job, and I grew up sort of in the country, so that was the only places to play. And I wasn't 18 or 19 yet, so I couldn't play in clubs or bars. So, but then when I went to university, I sort of started like focusing on school a little bit more. I wasn't playing gigs, and then as you know, like I got into online poker and started like playing online poker professionally for a few years. And then so like the whole time, like I was still like practicing all the time. I was DJing, and I was I scratching and practicing every day basically, but I just wasn't pursuing it as like a career, but my skills are still going up. So it wasn't till 2011 there's like the DMC Canadian finals came back. So it's like the national DJ championship.
So it was the first time in a while this had come back.
Yeah. So it hadn't been happening for like 2009, 2010, there weren't any Canadian finals. So those were 2 years that I might have actually went into it, but they didn't have them. And then it came back in 2011, and is really short notice too. It's only like a couple months notice. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give it a shot, because I don't know when the next time it's going to be around or whatever. And I'd never like placed a DJ battle or anything before. So basically, like long story short, I won the regional, and then I won the nationals, and then I went to my first world final was in the UK.
Oh, nice.
For the DMC Battle for World Supremacy, which is vinyl only. There's no like laptops or anything. And
that's what you're skilled at. Eh? That's where you usually use only vinyl, right? Or do you do both?
I do both. So I was like the first DJ to win a world title with vinyl only and with digital vinyl, like laptops and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of like in.
You hold that supremacy too, eh?
Yeah, so that was it happened kind of quickly. Like I went from just like not even playing shows to all of a sudden like within less than a year I was like world champ, and then I was getting bookings and offers, and then it also coincided where I was graduating university that same year. So I sort of had this. I was at this crossroads where I was like, I was planning to do more schooling, but then all of a sudden DJing picked up really quickly. So I just decided like that's what I really wanted to do. So I just dropped poker, dropped school, and just went straight for music.
And then the rest is history. Eh? And well, it wasn't 7 straight years, was it?
No. So the way that like DJ world titles work is it's sort of like it's more like golf or boxing or something where they have multiple multiple organizations, like
okay.
Boxing has different belts.
Yeah.
So I won there's 2 major organizations and I won each of those belts.
Okay, several times each.
Yeah, so I won. DMC has the teams category, it has the solo category, has the vinyl only category, and it has the online category, and I won all of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
No
And
biggie.
Shells, what are you doing out there? Getting creative right now and stuff. You were doing like shows like open mics and stuff like that. Do you host those?
Yeah, I started up a freestyle night in my city, and so I put it on every 2 weeks. One of the events companies that I'm associated with, Cheshire Productions, is a local one here. So yeah, I started up kind of the rap segment of that. So that had to be on pause,
obviously,
because of everything.
Did you start up a Twitch one, or like
I already have
like
Twitch. I Twitch a lot.
You should get like a Zoom call, like open mic going. That'd be fun.
Yeah, well,
and video
it's been cool. Because we have I guess you could record it. The only thing you get with the music is a bit of a lag. I've actually been meaning to do it for a bit, but I've just been so wrapped up in my own projects, with being given this much time to
complete
myself.
all those right now. So
yeah, and so I keep wanting to continue figuring out a way to help continue bringing the community together, but I've just honestly been wrapped up in just learning at home, working on my own stuff, which is, I feel like it's okay to be selfish sometimes.
It's always all right to be selfish. So, like every once in a while you can do you.
Yeah, I've been learning a lot. I started learning how to play the piano, which is cool. I picked up a keyboard right before this all went down. My friend Jesse, thank you, Jesse, if you're listening, if you're going to listen to this, for the keyboard. And it's cool too. I actually just started scratch lessons.
Oh, from some guy named DJ Vekked or Vekked or something like that?
Depends on the universe, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But it's been really good. I've been streaming and stuff. I started DJing a couple months ago because a small town bar assumed that I DJ'd, and so they booked me.
Like, and I gotta learn this now.
More than a couple months now.
It was Halloween. So I guess, 7
months ago.
That'd be a few more than a couple months, yeah, for sure.
Well, I don't even know what year it is anymore, guys. So go
Fair
easy.
enough.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've been just working on music, I have an EP in the works that's kind of done when I finally sit down and finish all the artwork of it. But now, since there's not really a timeline to get anything out, I'm not sure how I want to release it or in what ways I want to release it, but sitting on some music, but also just every single day create weird new things, and sometimes they get finished, other times they don't. So
I started getting on the TikTok, my son convinced me, so
I feel like I was meant
I think you do well on TikTok. Your creative edge would have it on top. Trust me, I think you'd do awesome.
But the thing about divulging your attention to this many different media platforms is if you just focus on one or another, like at this point between like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok,
you're already a
Twitch,
fucking multitasker. So
I am. I have a TikTok, and I've tried. Sometimes I get ideas. I don't know. Yeah, I listened to a podcast recently breaching the subject of it, and I think it's something cool. But then the part of me that's like kind of jaded about like new technology is like, it's for the generation before me, which is like, I don't feel old, but I'm just like, there's a whole generation out there.
I started doing voiceovers on my time-lapse videos I've been making for shits and giggles and putting them up on TikTok this morning.
Yeah.
doing the play-by-play of what's going on in the video, but in like and change it into a quirky voice and shit.
I saw a really good video of the Great Hedgehog Warrior, and it brought me a lot of joy. And the voiceover is what made it. So I feel like the ferrets could get TikTok famous. I feel like the ferrets.
I think you should.
Yeah, I feel like
by the end of the week we should see one, right?
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that this week. I will make a TikTok. How about you, DJ Vekked?
What about me?
Are you a TikToker?
No.
Not
right now. I don't know.
Sorry, I started asking
he's I think he's a one-man band on the Instagram. I think you don't see him too on fire on any of the other platforms.
Instagram's my third biggest.
Yeah. Well, you do Twitch too, I see. So.
He's the OG Twitch.
The OG Twitch, yeah.
I remember when Twitch came out, and that was like the big time. I actually started twitching for a little bit with my like online games and stuff. That was huge. But lots of guys still do it. It's huge now, but like everyone's doing it on Twitch now. Do you have a good following on Twitch, Beck?
Like all right for Twitch. Like I just broke 2,000.
Nice.
So like Twitch is a little bit trickier to get people to, especially like pre-COVID. Like I'd say like probably 500 people have just been the last like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'm only 300 and something followers, but like over starting this podcast and just making my thing public too. Same thing. Like I've gained people over the COVID and stuff too.
Yeah, like I feel like well, the big thing for me for the DJ world is that so I've been on Twitch for 2 years doing DJ stuff, but and I was trying to tell people like Twitch is like the best live streaming platform, like go over to it, but I felt like so many people were like unsure of it. Like I had so many people thinking that you had to pay in order to use Twitch, and I'm like, no,
you don't.
Like, no, you literally just go to the link. Like all the payment things are purely optional. There's nothing required.
Yeah, you put your virtual tip jar, whatever the hell it is, and shit.
Yeah, it's like you can do that if you want to support, but you don't have to at all.
Yeah.
But it's only been recently when like a whole bunch of DJs have jumped over because they're getting copyright strikes on Facebook, and they jumped over to Twitch, and then now their fan bases have came over, and now they're like, oh, I guess like Twitch isn't like some weird scammy site, like I guess it's because like
Twitch has been around a long time. Like when I started playing online poker, I think it was in my second year. That's when it came out, and it was like online poker players were really the first guys to start using it, to be honest. And that's but I find you have to have a name to get followers on there, unless you're like a good video gamer or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard. It's tough to purely like organically build on Twitch, like compared to other social media platforms. But but it's still, I don't know. I think like the pros of the platform outweigh like the cons of making it tougher to get people there.
Oh, for sure. You know
what I mean? Beck told me about Twitch.
You didn't know about it either?
No, he told me about it like
a while ago, a year.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was about a year ago. And I remember that I was kind of in between living situations. So I streamed for a bit, but didn't have a regular practice. And right before literally every single DJ ever decided that they wanted to live stream, I got back into it. And it was pretty neat because I reached like the affiliate status of it right kind of before everybody else did. So I feel like I have a little bit of, I got into the swing of things on it, and I love it. It just feels so intimate with your fans, and it's just so community driven too, which you don't really realize.
Twitch, I feel like the Twitch music is not that old, right? Like it's only like maybe 3 years old or something.
Yeah, it's newer for the musicians, I think. Like,
yeah.
It was more the online game. It was the online poker than the online gaming.
Yeah.
Now the musicians I've seen come in now.
I knew about it for ages, but just with gaming, and I didn't even make the connection between like doing like live streaming music stuff on it until it was actually like I was following Deadmau5, because he does like production tutorial stream stuff sometimes.
Okay.
And he was on it, and he had like a lot of followers and stuff, and then one of my buddies was like, hey, why don't you stream on Twitch? And I was like, no, Twitch is for video games. And then I was like, wait a second, I'm watching a producer on Twitch like every week.
Yeah.
And then that's when I like made the jump
connection. Yeah.
but it's definitely like anybody outside of the video gaming poker type of scene, it's like still a new platform for them.
Yeah, for sure. So now I get to ask this question: how the hell did you two meet? Because you guys seem to have become good friends or whatever, over the course of the last year or so, probably.
Yeah. Who wants to tell?
You go ahead. Yeah, treehouse time.
Treehouse time.
So this was 2 years ago, 2 summers ago. There's this festival called Fozzie Fest out
Lake
out
Koocanusa.
Yeah, Lake Koocanusa in BC. And I was booked there as one of the headliners, and I got to this festival. This is in the middle, like near the end of my tour, my U.S. Canada tour that year, and then
Okay.
I went to this festival. And I just like pulled in and loaded all my stuff to where I'm staying and that, and just went to like the first stage that I could, and then somebody like saw my tag that I was like an artist, and they're one of the camera people, and they started talking to me, and within like 5 minutes they're like, hey, you got to meet somebody, like it's my friend, like she's a rapper, like blah blah, and they like went and just like took me to this treehouse thing,
The tree.
and then Thug Shells is up there, and then she's like, hey, do you want to like hear some bars? And I was like, no.
Typical rapper.
Like, well,
Typical.
I didn't actually say no, but in my head I was like, obviously I don't want to hear your bars. Like, and there's never a situation where a rapper comes up to me and is like, hey, do you want to hear a verse? And I'm like,
I didn't say it like that. I was like,
but it was like that's how every rapper in the world goes, and like 99% of the time it's terrible. Like,
what about this 0.1%?
So you're stuck there, and you're like you gotta listen to this like struggle rapper's verse, but
the struggle rapper.
yeah, and then
this rapper was in the VIP treehouse though.
But so Suggy, she's like, give me some words or something like that. And she said something. She just like, give me a word, and then like she was holding a water bottle, and I was just like, water. And little did I know that her whole like theme is like water and like nautical stuff. Like,
you didn't know this at this point either, did you?
I fell into the trap, I think. But then she like starts freestyling like all this stuff to water, and like, to her credit, she's a really good freestyler as well. Like, that's her bread and butter. But she's just like freestyling all this stuff about water for a while, and I was like, oh, like, she's better than I thought. Like, better than most random rappers that you meet in tree houses, at least,
I want to hear some bars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, okay, but that was about it, like, for that. And then we like it wasn't until last summer when there's another festival, and I was booked there, and you were playing?
No, so actually it's a festival called Vibrant. Ninja and Robbie C put it on. They're awesome. Yeah. And I didn't apply for it, but I was good friends with one of the organizers, and she wanted me to come. So she put me on a volunteer shift. She's like, you have to come check out the festival. So I volunteered one of the earlier days so that I could just enjoy the rest of the festival. Right.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you're like on anyone's set or something, but
I don't know, but I definitely saved the day when that mixer melted down.
Yeah. There's a point when the DJ's mixers like crashed, new technology, and
sorry, Ben Fox.
So somebody like called her up to grab the mic and freestyle, and like fell in the time until they got the mixer back up.
It's pretty good. They're like, we need Thug Shells now, and I was in the back in a hammock.
And I guess in the time between festivals, she put out her album too, and then I heard her album, because before that I never
heard that album.
Bubbly Gangster.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Then is that your only album out so far?
Yes, that is. Yeah.
Nice.
And but that was my first time like hearing her like on a track or anything, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I didn't really, because before that all I had was like the treehouse freestyle rap, right?
That's the vision.
Yeah. So it wasn't like we were really like planning to work together or anything. But after I heard her recordings, and then we met again and stuff, and then we just started like talking about, make music or whatever. And then is basically like, I don't know, we talked about it for a long time, and then she started giving me like beat ideas, and I started sending her beats, and then we made a little video when I was over there, like playing a show in Edmonton. And then most recently we finally
that the video from back in the fall there, Vec?
Yeah, that was
that was good. I like that one.
Yeah, where that's sort of like we did that pretty on the fly, like,
oh, that one. I was like, what are we talking about?
Where she just I picked like basically 10 like throwback old school beats and made like a quick mix type of thing, and then she wrote bars that related to each one. And
nice, that's awesome.
But then it wasn't until like really recently that we actually like she hit me up with a track idea for the Don't Put It in Your Mouth. And
that was amazing, man. And then it makes the news. Like, run us through that, guys.
It's really funny, actually.
Whose idea was it to begin? Was it both? Yeah. No,
it was mine. Nice. It was my idea. Jake actually DJ Vekked actually didn't know the original PSA that it was from. Right?
I don't even remember. I remember.
Why do you look skeptical?
I remember the jingle, but I didn't never seen like the actual or saw the actual video for it or nothing.
So I felt horrible because the news interviewed me and I lied on the news. And then that was the part that they made a whole thing about. And it wasn't a big lie. I don't know why I said it. And I'm telling you now because you guys are my conscience. And now because
the audience is going to know now.
Well, that's fine. I like once the news actor hears it, like he'll realize like, oh, like how do you go back?
Well, I heard it when I listened to it. I'm like,
it's not the truth. I don't know why I said it. It just happened. I'm a liar. I called my mom right after that. I was like, I lied to the newscaster.
Tell everyone what you said.
So the guy asked me, how did you think of this song idea? And I said I was in the kitchen with my dog, which I was. That is accurate. That is the fact. And I told him that my dog tried to eat something. And I was like, Milo, don't put that in your mouth. And I was like, oh. And that's how I got the idea. But Milo didn't eat anything. I just got the idea randomly.
That wasn't that. That would never was a thing. You just said that for no reason.
I know. I don't know why I said it.
I heard that. I'm like, why wouldn't you just tell them that you remembered the commercial and decided?
I don't know why it happened, but at that point you're on the news and you're like, what do I'm not going to go back on like retracting this elaborate story. It's not worth it in the moment.
I think you should post to CTV Edmonton now and let them know the truth.
Just have a confessional booth.
Yeah. I almost wrote on the Facebook thing. That's a bold-faced lie.
Well, honestly, if you go to the CTV page and comment on it, you will join the haters on that.
It never was no dog.
It's so funny. So between our fan bases, we've been met with so much happiness and gratitude, but simply on CTV's personal Facebook page, there's just like a wall of hatred against me.
Well, every CTV page I find gets.
Oh my goodness!
I've like freaking shut them out lately. You know, all those pages I scroll through. I honestly,
I'm
down
exposed to hate.
No, like, but I'm down to like literally just to keep positive and be sane, man. I'm on to literally I have bookmarked CBC and the Government of Canada, and that's what my mentor talked about too. Just I don't care. I've shut out all the other news, and I look at it once a day. And I don't need all this bullshit in my head about all this COVID stuff all the time. You know how are you guys?
I don't bother with the news.
No, I don't either myself. Really.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Just too much bullshit out there. So back to the story now.
Yep.
About that song.
So tell the real story.
Well, I was in my kitchen and I looked at my dog, and through no correlation or fault of his, I was like, I want to flip this song. So I remember calling Vekked up and telling him, as I told him, you need to make a trap version of this song so I can rap about it because this relates to world events and I think people would like it.
Yeah.
And I sent him the song, and I think, what was your first reaction when you heard it?
Well, I thought it was a good idea. Like I actually didn't know, like I don't remember that PSA, but like I could see that like it had a couple million views on YouTube. I was like, okay, obviously it's popular. It's a Canadian thing. And
this was a Canadian PSA as well.
Yeah, it's a Canadian.
PSA. Oh, it was in the States too.
No, I said Canadian.
We both said Canadian.
But he said as well.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was like I meant like it's always been. Yeah.
Oh no, it's a 1993 specifically Canadian PSA.
Yeah.
That like aired over and over on all the on the channels.
Yeah. But like I thought it was like a cool, like weird, obscure sample. Like it's sort of like I have like routines I've made with scratch routines with like Sesame Street stuff and the Jungle Book, and so I was like, this is sort of like my alley. But when I first heard the track, I was like they're singing throughout it, and like usually if you're like making a beat out of something, you want to take like little instrumental parts, and like because I'm like, how's she gonna rap over singing? So I started like trying to make a beat out of it, and initially I sampled a part of it that wasn't like the main, like don't put it in your mouth part.
It was not iconic. We had to go back to the drawing board.
Because it's a long, like the commercial is 2 minutes long, and all these different parts. And then I sent it to her, and she's like, no, that's not like the part that people know. They know like the don't put it in your mouth. So I went back to the drawing board, and actually like throughout the song, like there's just like a few notes here and there where they don't say any words over it, and I just sampled each note separately and then like chopped it up, and then like that's how I made the melody like of the beat. And then the don't put it in your mouth at the very end, they like do this really long, like it doesn't say it like how it does in our beat. It's like they're saying this big long like outro chorus thing. But I took it and I sped it up like really, really fast. Because nowadays, like in modern production software, you can speed something up without changing the pitch, but sped up so it like is beat matched to the beat. So it's like don't put it in your mouth instead of like the actual one is like don't put it in your mouth. Like it's really slow, but I just crushed it all together so it was like more rhythmic and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how did you guys come up with that video? Obviously, it was shot provinces away and stuff. So who did that editing there?
I did a good chunk of it. One of my roommates, Joe, he as well helped with it. He helped shoot and edit it, but I did a lot of it too. Yeah. But it was awesome. So we finished my portion of the video. Pardon?
I said my parts were self-shot. Obviously.
Your parts were self-shot. Yeah. My parts were shell shot. But so my portion of the video is already finished, and Vekked did an amazing job of sending 2 versions of each clip, but the organization style of ourselves is quite evident when you see just how we work with things. So with my portion of the idea, we got so much footage that we had way more than we needed. I think I had like 180 clips that we put into. And then once we got Vekked's portions of it over top of it, I needed much less clippings, and it was fun. We had a lot of fun shooting, but I realized then like just how much simpler things become once you're organized and you have a plan. So none of the video of mine really had too much of a plan, except the ferrets washing their hands, which is actually one of the toughest scenes to capture well. But it was really amazing because when Vekked sent over his footage, he had it just so well organized. And so once I had my portion of the video, the clips that he sent me, I could just piece in exactly, and they were already pre-thought to some lines, and then we matched up the beats really well.
Basically, like they, like Michelle had basically done an entire pass of the video that was all like her, like already. So it was basically like a finished video take of her before I even had my parts. And then I just went and I did a bunch of like the scratch parts, like any scratch part I tried to get like on my turntables, but then I just like listened to her lines and tried to do stuff that related to her lines. And then like any of the stuff that is worth keeping, like she just edited that in to those parts of the song kind of thing. So it's like we almost had like, we probably could have done 2 versions of the video, like all her and then all me kind of thing. But it's just sort of spliced together. It's not like a typical like process for making a video, but that's
not at all. But
when we're separated,
it's the new quarantine style making a video.
Yeah, well, that's kind of our challenge too. That's
even lots of other hip hop artists, big names are doing it too. Like I even see like, you know, for instance, you know, Tom McDonald, Nova's boyfriend, and then Das FX or whatever he is. Like they did a video together, but they shot it. One shot it in Canada, one shot it in California.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's definitely gonna.
It was
force
fun.
people to.
It was a lot of fun. It was also a lot of work, actually. Like, I didn't realize how much work it was going to be. It was actually Vekked's first song out on Spotify ever.
Yeah, I saw that. Like all these years, you don't have anything out there, eh?
I mean, like,
you should get some routines on that guitar turntable.
Yeah, no, I have
the Frank and Scratch.
I have
the Frank and Scratch. Yes, that's right.
I'm just I don't know. I'm a perfectionist, basically, and like I haven't actually been writing my own music for that long. Like only 4 years.
Yeah.
So, like the funny thing is, like, a lot of people know me for like the Sega thing, which I
think you and Fresh Kills should have a battle, man. And when he hears this, I think the two of you should get.
Can I judge it? Can I be the judge? I'm a really fair judge.
Our shows on tour were sort of us battling back and forth.
Sick! I haven't even really heard any of them.
That's like how we had different types of like sets depending on the venue and stuff. But that's like a big part of our Fingers and Faders tour was just us going like routine for routine and
him on the drum machine and then
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that guy's just ridiculous on the MPC, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's the best. He's also like with Fresh Kills. The thing I like is like, not only is he like really skilled, like technically, but it's like the stuff he makes sounds really good. Whereas like sometimes you get guys who finger drum who are just like virtuosos, but like it just sounds like a big drum roll the whole time.
Well, I don't know if you heard the new one, but he did it on the episode he did with me. So
if it's super new, I probably haven't heard it.
What does virtuoso mean?
The Janet Jackson remix he did.
I feel like I've heard that one. It was
fun though. He did it for his episode, the last episode there. So,
but what does virtuoso mean? Shells?
Mm-hmm.
Like a virtuoso is like a super
like a tryhard.
No, like a super technical, like master of something, like of music.
I think we should put that word in the Urban Dictionary.
I'm putting that into my vernacular right here, into my own Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, it's like mostly it usually refers to like being really technical. So like if you're a rap virtuoso, like Eminem would be a rap virtuoso for sure.
He's the best.
Yeah,
that's amazing. You just celebrated 12 years sober too. That's amazing.
Yeah,
like 2 years sober, just about. Well, at the end of this year.
You?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on a few months again, but it's one day at a time. That's all you can do.
Yeah, 100%.
But,
I just took a break and I don't want to stop taking a break.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So what about you? Who do you emulate anyone, Beck? Like, do you have a style or is it just that early age? Like you said more earlier in the episode there about that, like watching, what's his name there? Like at 12 or whatever.
Hubert and Mixmaster Mike.
Yeah.
Man, I have so many influences. It's like, it's hard to even keep track anymore.
Let's give us your top 3.
My top 3. Man, I really like Kid Koala, DJ Woody, and maybe DJ Craze or something. Basically, like Kid Koala, he's Canadian,
okay,
but
nice.
he was signed to Ninja Tune, and he released a couple turntablist albums right around the time I started getting into it. And actually, before I got into it, so one of my memories of Kid Koala is like I used to listen to his music before I even knew what scratching was, and so. And then when I started learning what scratching was, I made the connection that that's how he made the music. And it's sort of like, that's my like, I don't know. I always try and make stuff that is like, you don't necessarily have to scratch in order to appreciate it. Like you could still enjoy it if you're not like a turntablist. And so that's what like I've channeled with Kid Koala. Woody is a UK turntablist who's really, really musical and like melodic and stuff. And I try and like, put as much like sort of like music theory and stuff as I can into it. And then Craze, he's like the best battle DJ of all time.
Oh, is he? Nice. Where's he from?
He's from Miami, like
okay.
US, but he's just sort of like yeah, like he's just an all around like really, really good turntablist. And for like technical stuff, he's definitely like the one I look up to the most.
Nice. What about you, Thug Shells? Do you have anyone that you look up to, or like that really pushed you to get into hip hop? I know you said it was a different road for you, but do you look up to someone or emulate, or?
It's really interesting because though it was a different road when I was about 12, 13 years old, all I could listen to was Eminem. And I remember I had not a lot of friends. I had a lot of pet lizards, and I had Eminem posters on every wall and every single
Lizard
CD.
girl. Lizard
girl, yeah. Now I'm just a reptile with a bunch of ferrets. And I'm a crazy ferret lady. So it happens. You can become a freestyle rapper, adopt ferrets. It's the secret of happiness. But growing up, I listened to a lot of Eminem, and I think that style really reflects in what I do now, like the sense of humor that I carry with things, as well as I can just identify certain patterns that are similar to that. So with the next project that I have coming out, I took a lot of inspiration from Mac Miller's late works.
Nice.
Just because I was going through some life changes and the seasonal, I guess, maturation and solving of your problem as you work through it. And growing through your life. I feel like my next project is going to emulate a bit more of that.
Like where you're just down in the dumps, like stressed, depressed?
I'm never really stressed and I'm never really depressed, but I definitely had some self-reflection and growing to do.
Nice.
Because of a transitional period. And it was really cool because whenever I feel that the world has hardships, I always take it as an opportunity to learn and to really feel that and channel that emotion and use it to create art. Because I feel like there's a lot of really cool art that's created just because you're happy, but some of the most moving pieces of work are created when you're in those situations. And when you take those kinds of feelings and you channel them into a piece that is timeless, other people going through those same situations can really use what you've created to help remind them that they're not alone. Yep. And so I feel with Mac Miller's work, he was under a lot of duress and under a lot of stress, and with the work that he did, he portrayed that. And so when I was going through just evolving and refining the person that I am today, I listened to a lot of his stuff to bring me solace in the fact that I'm not alone, and the fact that I have to continue developing, continue working on myself. And once you've
it's not a once in a lifetime thing, you know what I mean? It's an everyday thing, you know, life and growth and stuff like that and development.
Yeah, I have a song on my project coming out called Blooming. And it's really interesting because there are some songs that are a bit more somber. And then there's some songs on the project that really are about growing. And some songs are almost apathetic, but I find that sometimes apathy, when you're feeling a little bit numb, can be really comforting. Like Comfortably Numb, Pink Floyd originally stated it. And I think a lot of people would agree. But nowadays, now that I'm in a really good place and a creative place, I've been going back and just studying old school hip hop because I never grew up on it. So like I listened to a bunch of like Big Daddy Kane's albums.
Oh man, God bless. That's
yeah. And it's just, there's so many incredible artists that I wasn't exposed to. And now proceeding in hip hop, wanting to respect all the forefathers that brought hip hop to existence now and respect it properly, I'm going back and reading and listening, and I still have so much to learn.
Celebrated his birthday the other day too.
Happy birthday, homie.
Vekked, no, maybe no.
Yeah, of course, the godfather of hip hop.
Oh yeah,
very first hip hop party.
I'll add that to my list. Awkward.
Very first hip hop DJ. You won't really find much.
You won't find much about him. One of my buddies, Beck probably knows him too. You know, Fraction.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He always. I remember we used to sit
up there with Vector.
I have his vinyl.
But yeah, if you used to sit in his garage, he used to always bring up Kool Herc, and I remember, and I was only in my early 20s when I first found out about Kool Herc too, man.
Yeah.
He just drove around in his car in Brooklyn or Harlem with a big boombox on his shoulder. That's how he rolled.
I love my boombox. Friggin' boomboxes are the best.
But yeah, that's amazing though. Like that you emulate like those Mac Miller and stuff like that. I can't wait for your next project to come out. What's that one going to be called?
Well, it started out as a rainy day EP. Is what it was, because I don't know, I just wanted to, because my first project I have out is really uppity and I absolutely love it. I had a Kickstarter going. I flew to Spain and recorded with my favorite breakbeat producer in the world, which was crazy.
What like the power was for?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. My Kickstarter was I just wanted to make an album. And I didn't really have any plan. And I got linked up with a producer, my buddy Dave. He's in Vancouver. Pineapple Sound is his studio, just through the friends connecting us. And I went over there and we started working on some tunes together. And then I had been writing to one of my favorite breaks producers in Spain over the duration of my coming up as an MC. And I sent him one of the songs that I was working on. And he asked what my plans were for the Kickstarter money that I'd raised. And I said that I wasn't really sure. It was just like, okay, time on. It was basically to buy time to make this album, which I had a lot of lyrics, but I'd never worked with a producer before. I didn't know what it was like to be in a studio. It's my first time. And he told me, well, why don't you use the Kickstarter money to come to Spain and we'll make your album here. And when your favorite producer asks you to come to a different country, you drop everything. So I dropped everything I was doing. I booked a ticket to Spain the next day. And so my album was created out of that, which I absolutely love. But it's really funny because when you look at the statistics on all the online listening platforms, like 80% of my music listeners are from Spain.
Oh, are they because of this DJ or producer? I mean,
because he's an amazing producer. Shade K is his name. And it's crazy because I have such a huge fan base over there and most of them can't even understand what I'm saying.
It's funny how like lots of Canadian underground hip hop artists too, especially, they have a bigger following. I find, lots of the ones I even follow and stuff like that too have coming up over the years. Like their followings are all in Europe too. Why is that? You find that, like, why can't you just, unless you've like established yourself like someone like Mercules or something like that, you know what I mean? And really blowing up or whatever, but like, why is it in Europe that you're so much bigger over there? I find
more people in a smaller area.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's
you have a lot bigger fan base over there too, Vekked?
I'm not sure exactly because like I've been touring like Canada and the US for years now, and that's sort of that. I feel like that's sort of the way, like it's harder to do it like Canada and US, you definitely have to hit the road. Whereas and Europe, I feel like hitting the road helps too. But the thing is, like, because everything's closer and cheaper to travel to, you can go and you can actually do a tour there when you're not as established. Whereas like when you think about it, like Canada, like there's only a handful of cities in all of Canada that you can even like make money playing.
No, for sure. And it's more of the bigger metropolitans and stuff. So.
Yeah. And you like, you're not flying to those places like, and trying to make money as well. You're like, you've got to drive and like, it's just, it's logistically like Canada is so big and the population is so small that it's just a lot trickier. Whereas like you can go to Europe and you can like go to you can hit like 5 different countries for $200 or something. Right?
No, it's crazy how they're that's why I said that, because I see lots of Canadian hip hop artists like over the years, ones I still follow to this day, they still go over to Europe and do tours. They'd rather go there than stick with America.
I think it's just like logistics, really. Like it just happens to be that that things are a lot like tighter and a lot cheaper to travel than it is in North America. Even if you have a little bit like more people in North America, it's just like they're not going to be as close together.
Okay. What about you, Thug? Have you done any little tours and stuff like since you've started?
Well, I've played a ton of like Western Canadian festivals.
More festivals than bars or like shows like that.
Yeah, I guess the thing is with my first album, I absolutely love it. But as I was saying, it has a really specific mood to it. It's like really uppity, as well as it was literally when I began emceeing, I was like, I'm going to make an album, and I got the opportunity to go record with my favorite producer. And the caliber of the production is absolutely phenomenal because it was one of the best breaks producers in the world. But the thing is, re-listening to it now, I'm a bit harsher on myself because I listen to my voice and the capabilities within it and the misunderstanding of how to change up rhyme schemes and flow that after developing as an artist over the last year or two, I mean, I still have lots of work to do, but just the understanding of rhythm and flow and my voice control that I have now compared to what I did then, it's just grown a lot. So, I'm really excited to put out some kind of new projects because with that one, it's breakbeats. It's really uppity. It takes you into a mood. It lifts you up. But I'm really excited to have a couple different projects that are almost a bit more genuine to the roots of hip hop, because I feel like the project I have out is very much so my own thing.
Nice.
But I want more hip hop so that I can enjoy performing stuff like that, because in the festival scene, which is what I perform in and what I'm cherished in and what I absolutely love to do, it's been great. But it would be really cool to have even more of a diverse amount of shows that I could play. So I've played some local shows and I've gotten booked. Like I went out right before COVID went down, actually. My friends had booked me. I went out to Saskatchewan and I played a show there. Nice. Literally right before everything happened. It was pretty crazy. Like, it was really cool that it all came together. But now that I DJ as well, I think it's completely kind of changing the game for everything.
So you can do a little of both, though, you know. So it's awesome. You can either do that one night and do hip hop the next, you know, do MC.
Yeah, well, now I completely control. Like, now you book me. Like, I had a bunch of bookings for this summer now, but that's kind of how it works as a new artist, especially as an MC. I'm sure it's like this for a DJ as well. But the kind of the first summer you start doing it, you just kind of, as an MC, you just freestyle to people. You get your name out there, and honestly, I really recommend just getting stickers. Give stickers to everyone. But the first summer, you kind of make friends with everyone, be a part of the scene, and start working on your craft. Then the second summer, you kind of start getting bookings, and you don't necessarily get paid, but you kind of get a bit of spots, and there might not be the best spots.
Internship, almost like anything
else.
You know? Start from the bottom up.
Yeah, and so this summer, I mean, everything right now is up in the air and also not happening, which is unfortunate. However, you know, it's how we have to do it right now. But this summer, you can just see the steady growth, and I'm in absolutely no hurry to be given bigger opportunities. They all come as they should, and it's been really cool and really gradual, because shows can be given to you, but you have to earn the skills in order to take them. Like Vekked, you turned down a big opportunity once, didn't you?
Oh, did you?
Because you wanted more time.
What was that about, Vekked?
Nice.
Reflection.
The first time I won like the Canadian DJ championships.
Yeah.
I didn't actually go to the world finals. Like, I chose not to go to the worlds, which I don't think has ever.
So that was your first time winning it back in 11 or 12?
Yeah, 2000. So 2011, I won the Canadian final, and then I decided not to go to the worlds. Like, I actually decided, like, when I won and they gave me the mic to like say like my victory speech or whatever, I was like, I'm not going to the world finals.
You said that in the mic?
Yeah, and people were really, really mad at me. Like, there's people who are like offended, like
I just won, and all these other DJs would have had this opportunity probably. But
yeah,
you won.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, basically. But like, from my perspective, is like, there's a lot of things like that played into it. But one was like the Canadian finals that year was really short notice. Like, it was like 3 months, and like every other country in the world had been practicing like all year round, right?
Well, how long did you need to, like, how long do you usually need to come up with a good routine for these types of competitions?
For when I finally, like, this is like the best example that I always use, but when I finally won like the major world title, like the DMC world title in 2015, like that's the biggest, like, oldest world title, and there's one part of my set, like 1 minute of it, that I started in 2011.
Wow, it took you 4 years to come up with just a single minute of your set, eh?
Yeah, like that's not typical. Like, I've also had like 1 minute of another minute of that same routine actually only took about 1 day or 2 days to make or something. So it's like that, like you never know, but generally it, like, for like the higher level you're trying to compete at, the more time it takes. And I'd say if you're trying to win the world finals, like be the actual like number one in the world, you just have to practice all year round.
So
like,
how are these things judged then? Like, these competitions, like, who judges them usually?
Past world champions mostly, and sometimes it'll be past like national champions and stuff too. Like,
okay.
But it's a lot of world champions at the world finals.
Nice.
So it's like, yeah, you're sort of judged by your peers who have already done it before. Like, since I won, like, I've went to the UK just to judge 1 year and stuff. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, last year I went to Denver and judged the American final and stuff like that. And that's
I think I saw that on your Instagram.
That's sort of how it works in our world, is like, once you sort of have like proven yourself, then you judge the next. And it, like, I feel like it's sort of your obligation too, is like, out of respect for the scene and the culture and the next like generation of DJs, you want to make sure that you're there to like quality control it, sort of.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll go over to Thug Shells there, you know. So you say you like kids and stuff like that. Like obviously I don't think you have any of your own or nothing, but like
No, I like kids a lot because I'm a big one.
You're a big kid. You sound like my youngest brother too. Like I remember he used to have like neighborhood kids running around coming to call him when we'd be at my parents'. Like, no, he's moved out now, you know, or something.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I get along really well with kids. I started doing kids parties a while back just because someone sent me like a classified ad. Someone needed there's a big mall here. And
so what do you do for the kids parties, or is it just random stuff that you get called for?
Well, no, I do like balloon animals and face paint. And
yeah, you can do balloon animals too. Holy shit. You're the jack of all trades.
Literally just learn how to do a dog. I have a video on my YouTube of how to make a balloon animal dog. And out of a dog, you can make a wiener dog. You can make a giraffe. If you put eyes on a snake, actually, it's pretty easy. But my first ever party I got booked at was as a pirate on the pirate ship. So I'm like, okay, well, what's a pirate? You learn how to make a pirate sword. And I actually just got rebooked right before this all went down for another pirate thing. But like, I had a lot of pirate garb, and someone's like, you have to go be this pirate. And then the parents liked it so much that it just became a thing. That's awesome.
So like, and then, because I saw what you were advertising for it on your website and stuff like that. You do kids parties, everything.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like people have been begging me to start a kids show for like ever.
You should. I think you should be like the little kid MC, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of things I should do.
You should do a kids album. I think you and Vekked should do a kids album.
Well, honestly, all the original Sea Creature songs that I had written, what I had started as an MC was
remix the Baby Shark song to start.
Yeah, and take one from Jazz's books, Baby Shark. I have a pet shark. It's on my wall, but this is not a video recording, so I'm not going to bother getting it. But his name is Mr. Akula, which means shark in Russian.
Oh, nice.
Mr. Shark. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, no, kids are great. I just honestly, seeing the world through the eyes of a child with wonder at all times is really important. People grow up and people take life really seriously, and there's certain things that you have to take serious, but I think it's really important to play every day and just to remind yourself that you're only here for a finite amount of time and you got to make the best of it.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
those kids are cute.
That's true. You know, I have two little, well, not so little, you know, my son's almost the same size as me at 12. Like the doctor said he's going to be like 6'4", 6'6" probably, but only 12 for Christ's sakes.
They're just so smart too. It's crazy. Like they're just tiny little homies. Like,
yeah,
my you talk to them like they're people. And
the master of Snapchat, because right now I can't see her because of all this stuff
Snapchat.
going on. No. Me and her mother decided to let her have it because that's the easiest way to chat with me right now through the video chat. That's the really only reason I use it. Well, man, the kids figured out everything. I was like, what the hell is going on now? But yeah. I have to ask you about the Franken scratch though. How the hell did that come about? Because that wasn't always a part of your set, was it?
No, that I
is that your own invention, or did some other DJ start that?
Like the Franken scratch itself is my own invention, but it's definitely inspired by. It's not like the first turntable guitar or anything.
Yeah.
Like I think
it reminds me of Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
What does your Facebook bio say? You're a DJ stuck in a rock star? No, a rock star stuck in a DJ body?
I don't know.
I think that's what you're about on your Facebook says. Or does it say do it for the gram? I think it might be that. I'll have to fact check.
But I think like the first time that I ever saw like any sort of turntable guitar thing was like I think it's Funky Cold Medina maybe, or Wild Thing. It's one of those old, like an 80s rap song.
Oh, so they go way back, eh?
In the video there's a DJ with like a turntable like guitar thingy, and then the most well-known, two like really well-known ones before was there's a DJ company called Vestax, and they made like a turntable guitar for like their trade shows and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I remember seeing like that's the first one that looked like a guitar too. And then Cut Chemist and Newmark from Jurassic 5 used to do one. But basically like all those were sort of done a bit like 15 or more years ago, so they're using like actual records and needles
they're using actual records and everything, eh?
Yeah, and so there's a lot of like, which is cool, but there's a lot of limitations because like the needle will skip or move sideways, but what they would do is they would just like put a like a some sort of a mount so that the needle was just jammed right into the record so it wouldn't skip.
Okay.
But that means that you can only basically use like one sound at a time or something. You can't really do like a proper routine with it.
Yeah.
So like my idea was like, I always wanted something that I could use at shows, like when I'm stuck in like a DJ booth or something, because
I know the first time I saw you do it was when you opened up for Wu-Tang back in Kitchener. So
right. Yeah. So like when I started touring, I realized that there's a lot of venues where like I'm behind a wall or something and people can't really see me scratch, but I wanted a way that I could still scratch and people could see me. And so instead
interacting with the crowd and stuff, that's what you want.
like something where I could like walk out from the DJ booth or from the wall and still like do my stuff, and people could who maybe aren't super into scratching and don't really know how it works, like they can actually see me doing it. So that's that was my inspiration. And then like it just happened that in like the past little while there's new technology where like the deck that I'm actually using for my Franken scratch isn't a real turntable. It runs off a USB key.
Oh, okay.
So it because it's playing like MP3s, I can load a full routine on there and I can do like a full routine and jump to the sounds I want, and like I can actually do like some more musical stuff. Like so like the one thing I do is I do Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name of.
Yeah.
I do like I basically redo the guitar solo with scratching.
Nice.
And that's sort of like a flip on like Tom Morello always would do scratch sounds on his guitar, right?
Oh, okay. So you're
So
just mimicking that
guitar
almost.
sounds on my turntable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you guys are you doing any? You guys have any other up and coming music together coming out? Do you?
I don't know. Do we?
Yeah, you guys gotta follow us to figure that out, because there's gonna be lots of cool stuff.
What's your social media pages, guys?
Thug Shells everywhere. THUG like a thug, and shells like seashells.
So right across the board, all the same name there, Thug Shells?
Thug Shells? Yep. Thugshells.ca.
Wow.
You can find it all.
I'm at Vekked on most things, except Facebook. I have DJ Vekked because someone had Vekked already, and in Twitch I'm Vekked Scratches because someone had Vekked already.
So you have do you have different shows you do all the time? You're on there quite often. Well, both you're on Twitch all the time, eh?
Yeah, I have
You have like a routine or every day, or what is it?
I have a Tuesday and a Thursday where I do DJ tutorials, like so just lessons, teaching mostly. But
Nice.
it varies. Like sometimes it's just like watching videos and like doing like sort of like history like of like DJ battles. Sometimes I'm actually like scratching and demonstrating stuff.
Yeah. So do you find you get lots of little kids to up and coming, like, or is it like a variation of people?
I have some like not like young kids, because I feel like they're not just like on.
Those are for me.
But like I definitely have like high school kids and stuff.
Nice.
Like there's at least a couple guys who are like 15, 16 there and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Like they can inspire the younger generation and stuff, you know, and get creative, especially in these times.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting because like when I started doing it and I started realizing that, I was like, not like it would be like inappropriate anyways, but I just like try to watch like what I say in case like there's impressionable kids on there, you know. Even like I try not to be like super like vulgar, swear a lot or something, you know.
I noticed that between the two of you. Well, maybe more her because she's with the kids all the time, you know. You got to watch what she says, but you know, I was actually surprised. So it's been nice, you know. I think I'm the one that's dropped all the fucking F-bombs.
Yeah. Well, it's not even a conscious choice. I don't really proceed in a vulgar way. I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah.
So
I think that comes from me being a truck driver in my past. So
oh, it's for sure a thing of circumstance. When you hang out with people with any kind of mannerisms, you tend to pick them up. But with abolishing certain words and mannerisms from my vocabulary, I don't fall on them as crutches, because sometimes it's said, like, especially with freestyling, right? You have certain words that you go to that are almost just filler. So by making yourself consciously choose to avoid words that are not wholesome, you open yourself up to.
That's so true. So true. And I've been learning that too, like through public speaking stuff that I've been doing through Toastmasters too. Same thing.
Yeah. I just like being wholesome. I just like a
That's
really
awesome.
good wholesome debauchery is just kind of how I like to exemplify.
You definitely are an extrovert with so much energy. You know what I mean?
It's the coffee, man.
Is it? Okay, it's just the coffee. Once that
It's
wears
just the
off,
coffee.
it's like
No, it's not the
it's
Yeah.
like a wolf.
It's not the coffee.
No, it's not just coffee. She
I got the.
doesn't stop talking.
Hey,
Sweet.
it's
No,
my
I'm not saying
job.
that's a bad thing. Like you have lots to say, but you don't stop talking.
Nice.
I've been actually focusing on listening.
Yeah.
I noticed that's been very
Yeah,
good.
you did let me get some words in, so
Well, I'm really interested in what you have to say.
Well, I think now we guys, I call it the 5 questions of fire. Just 5 random questions. You each get to answer them though. So I think I'm going to start with Thug Shells first.
Uh-oh.
So, what's your go-to order at your favorite hometown restaurant?
Oh, I always get the pho, like the meatball pho at Mackie Mackie.
Is
It's
that in
like faux.
Edmonton there? Or
Yeah, it's a couple blocks away.
nice. So, what do you wish you would have known when you first started this whole thing out, emceeing and freestyling, that you know today?
Practice every day. As simple as that. If you want to get good at something, you just got to do it.
Yeah, for sure. So, what are you curious about right now in this instant?
Quantum physics.
oh my god. Not again.
You know what? I'm scared.
Don't ask. Please don't ask.
Please, you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
All right. Well, hey, actually, this one might flow into this one now. Is there anything I should have asked but didn't?
What my favorite food is?
And what is it then?
Watermelon.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the best.
All right. And then what is something you failed at? But, I don't look at it as a failure. I look at it as a failure as a learning process and stuff. But
what's something that I failed at?
yeah.
I've failed to keep on task a lot. But someone a while ago, this is I'll try to keep it short, but basically a long time ago I got told that humans can only really work on 3 big projects at once. And the reason people aren't getting things done is because they diverge their attention span to a million things. So it was only recently that I started refollowing that, and I need to constantly remind myself. So I fail to focus on the actual things I want to accomplish. So I'm just trying to fail. I fail at focusing, but I'm working on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so here we go for Vekked for the 5 questions.
Go DJ, go DJ, go.
What's your favorite go-to order at your favorite hometown restaurant?
Chicken fingers and poutine.
Nice. From where?
Marty's Bar and Grill in Paisley.
Nice.
The restaurant. So,
what do you wish you had known when you first started out, like doing DJing and stuff that you know today?
I wish I'd known. I wish that I don't know, maybe that I would have like taken the time to do a little bit of like pushing and marketing with my titles after I won each one, kind of thing. Like I spent a lot of, like I'd like win a title and go right back into competing, and I wasn't really like pushing it,
just embracing it, eh?
Yeah, well, so like you can get gigs off of it, and you can like make your name bigger, and you can use it as a tool. And I didn't really give myself the time to do that. Whereas I'd recommend like to other people, like every time you have like a new peak in your career or something, like try to get opportunities out of it, and then try to further your career, and try to like you have to go back and forth like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you curious about right now in this instant?
Well, am I curious
physics?
Curious about motion graphic design.
Nice. What is that?
It's like graphic design, but it's in videos, like the moving graphics, like pictures.
Okay. That's something newer. I see lots of guys, actually lots of photographers and stuff, using it for their profile pictures and silly
yeah.
stuff.
Since COVID, I've started to learn about it a little bit because I just like, I don't know, I'm just interested in video stuff, but I'm not very artistic.
Into your Twitch feed.
Yeah. Like I can't draw or anything like Michelle can, but at least I can like program stuff to move the way I want it, right? So.
Nice. What is something you failed at, but become better afterwards?
Something I failed at and became better afterwards.
Like sort of learned from.
I mean, like music and DJing, I failed a lot. Like before I ever got like, I was
a lot of trials and tribulations, eh?
Yeah, like I'd been doing it, like considering I started when I was 12, and I didn't really like start playing shows until I was, man, 25, maybe 24. Like, so I'd been doing music for 12 years and didn't really have anything come of it. And yeah, and I entered a lot of battles before, like basically after I won my first battle, I went straight to world champion. But before that, I'd lost a whole bunch of battles. I didn't even place at anything.
Yeah, so that was your first big thing, and then
yeah, so it was like a bunch of losses, and then all of a sudden, like a switch just flipped.
Nice. Is there anything I should have asked you but didn't?
Maybe about my poker background, just because I think we referenced poker a fair bit.
Yeah.
Talk about why.
Well, what? Yeah. So why? What about poker? Why did you get into it? How did you get into it?
So funny enough, it stems, the very root of it stems from like DJing. Like DJing inspired me to play poker because it's the most roundabout way, but basically I was really into like DJing and scratching, and I just like all I wanted to do was practice all the time. And then right after first year university, I went home for the summer, and I got a job at like Hydro One.
Okay.
And it was just the most boring. Like, I was a librarian there for blueprints, a blueprint librarian.
You're a librarian?
It was just as.
You have little glasses?
No, I had.
That's nothing. Not good then.
Yeah, it was just as fun as you think it would be, being a blueprint librarian. And that summer, all I did was try and scheme a way that I could make money without like going somewhere soul crushing, so that I could scratch more. I just wanted to scratch more. And then I came up with this idea. One of my friends just like won a few $100s at online poker. And I was like, I'm just going to become a poker player. And I just started, I just went and bought every single poker book from Chapters. I read every poker book I could. And then
I think I kept a few poker books from the KPL.
Nice. Yeah. And like, so it didn't kick in that summer, but by the next summer, I think I was just making enough that I didn't need a summer job. And then a little bit later, like things started to take way off. Like I eventually got second in, I chopped F-tops one year for.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, I remember Ryan telling me about that.
Yeah, I chopped F-tops. That was like 97 grand US. And that was like,
you buy a nice boat.
Yeah, or you can buy a lot of time to scratch, which is what I did with it. But like, yeah, basically like I had the brain dead idea that I was like going to play poker so I could give myself more time to DJ, and it actually worked.
Perfect. There you go. There's a great ending to it then.
Yeah.
So maybe before we end off here, like each of you, what are three positive orientated vibes for the younger generation or they're coming up, like inspiring things, three inspiring things you could tell them? I'll start off with Thug.
Yeah. Thug, I'll have a go. Realize that people will always criticize you, but take what they say, think about if it's something you need to work on, and never take it critically. People a lot of the time don't just insult you to insult you. Usually what they say might have some merit. But also stemming off from that point is just ignore what people say. Do what you want. Be unique. Be you. And stay true to everything that you want to do. And the other one is every single thing takes a lot of work. You don't see the behind the scenes of people. You just see success. So if you find yourself struggling and failing, there's a million failures behind every success for a lot of champions. So whatever you think you might suck at, sucking is the first step. So keep sucking at it, and one day you'll be better than everybody else.
Yeah, thanks. Really good.
And you, Vec?
Let me see. First thing, it's cliche, but if you like if there's something you really like doing, like just pursue it. I don't know, sometimes I see sort of like anti-inspirational things online where they're like, you shouldn't pursue something just because you like it, blah blah blah. But it's like I know what they're trying to say, but the thing is, like, you know, like they're trying to say that not everybody's like good at stuff or whatever. But the thing is, like Michelle said, everybody starts being not good at stuff, and so you just kind of have to pursue it anyways. The other thing, like tying into that, is that in my experience, like people don't really believe in you until after you've done stuff. So you can't really like listen too much to people who doubt you or don't think you're going to do something, because those people are some of the first people that after you do something, they're like, oh yeah, I knew you would, or something, you know?
Oh, I know. It's funny. Like even starting this podcast too, like, you know, I know who the people are just because of my past and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? People change, you know, like people, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt and stuff like that. So I hear you there.
Yeah. And then the last thing is just do something because it's something you want to do and that you just have to do it. And it's something that, you know, it should be something that if you're on a desert island and there's no people around and you weren't getting off that island forever, that you'd still do it anyways, just for yourself. And then, you know, and then other people just happen to get to enjoy it too, but don't do it for other people.
Yeah, do it for yourself. That's what I find too.
Yeah.
You do it for yourself and do it for the love for yourself, and then everyone else will see that, you know, it'll pour out to them, sort of thing.
It'll translate.
Yeah, translate. Yeah.
Awesome. Your self-worth should never be based on the opinion of others. If what you're doing is what you want to do and you're happy doing it, screw what anyone else says. Keep doing it. Keep being good.
Yeah. But also, you know, like keep close friends who will give you honest feedback and stuff, you know.
You could just get ferrets instead, though.
Be open. You have to be open to criticism, but
yeah, no, that's true. Like even like when I first started this endeavor out too at the podcast, I have to be open to criticism and stuff like that, you know, especially my girlfriend who's an entrepreneur herself, you know, and she's my biggest critic.
Professional.
But, you know, she is my professional critic.
Pro-fresh.
Yeah, pro-fresh.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys, for doing this episode. It was great and great to have you guys on, and glad we can do these things, you know, during quarantine and stuff. So,
yes, sir.
But yeah, take care.
Thanks for having us.
We'll be in chat soon, and you know, I'll let you know when it's going to go live. So
Yep.
All right, take care, guys.
All right.
Dope. See you later.
Brother.